Hello, I'd like to introduce Nutanix to our interview series with regional channel chiefs. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Sammy Zoghlami, who's SVP for EMEA at Nutanix, and Adam Tarbox, who's VP for go-to-market in EMEA for Nutanix. Welcome to you both.
Thank you, Alastair.
And welcome this year to the Canalys Channels Forum again. It's great to see you both, and also congratulations to Adam on your new role running the EMEA channel for Nutanix. The theme of our event this year is Thrive. So my first question is, how do you see Nutanix thriving at the moment? Sammy, if I can ask you that question. How's Nutanix doing at the moment?
Well, we announced our earnings recently for Q4 and the full fiscal year 21. And we told the market how it was going. It's pretty impressive during COVID times that we can sustain our pace of growth like we did. You take the Q4 number we announced, it was 19% year-on-year growth on revenue. And considering we just finished our transformation to subscription with the term per year reducing. So the revenue is supposed to be contracting right now. And if you see that 19% growth on revenue is still happening, that's a very good sign. Now, the true measure of our success is ACV. And the ACV billing has been growing 26% in Q4 and 18% for the full fiscal year. So it's going pretty well. We passed the 20,000 customer mark. For us, it's a huge milestone. It's a lot of work with our partners to deliver this. And our pace of growth in terms of new customers, every quarter is between 700 and 800 new customers we add. And of course, we take good care of the existing customers. And a representation of this is our NPS score, which reflects how happy our customers are of partnering with Nutanix. And we are above 90 again this year and for the last 5 years. So pretty pleased with the pace of growth and sustainability of the customer experience at the same time.
I mean, those are pretty impressive growth rates. Where do you see most of that growth coming from? Are there particular areas? We'll get into that a little bit later, but any high-level highlights you can talk about?
Well, there's two dimensions I'm looking at in that space is the geographical dimension. And last year was unusual, where success seemed to happen pretty much everywhere. All regions, all theaters have been on double-digit growth, which is not the case usually. You always have different periods where some countries are surperforming and others are a bit slower. Last year was very good across the board. And we also have the streamline of our business on new products on top of the HCI historic business. And that's definitely, that new sales engine is working. 41% of our deals included other products than HCI last quarter. But that gives a view on the new sales engine we have as well.
Great. And we'll dig into that a bit later. But maybe I could turn to you, Adam, because obviously partners are very important to Nutanix, critical to your business. So what are you seeing in the partner community? Are the partners thriving in the same way?
Yeah, absolutely. So as Sammy referred to previously, partners have and always been an integral part of Nutanix success and our go-to-market. We are an indirect go-to-market company, which means our business flows through the partner community, whether that's distribution, resellers, systems integrators, or in partnership with OEM and technology alliances. So as we thrive, our success is driven by the partner success within the market. And what I saw over the last 12 months was obviously an initial response by the partner community to helping customers in how they enabled their workforce to work remotely as they responded to the pandemic and the situation that we were facing. And we saw some fantastic stories with partners standing up proof of value environments in a matter of hours and getting customers live and operational in a matter of days, which is just fantastic to see, unprecedented times there. But then what we've also seen is then following that, it's driven a transformational change within the customer. And so the relationships between partner and customer have changed in some cases from transactional to transformational. And to Sammy's point, what that's meant for the partner community is they're attaching more areas of the portfolio as the Nutanix portfolio has expanded into their deals, and that's creating more service opportunity for them. And so we've seen, partners thriving in exactly the same way as Nutanix has thrived within the market.
And obviously this all plays into the strategy that you have as a company, which is, as Sammy said, to move beyond the sort of core HCI product base into a wider set of technologies. So are you seeing that your partners need to develop new skills to capitalize on that opportunity? Where do you think they need to invest?
Yeah, I think so. Firstly, it's a great question, Alastair. There's still a huge amount of opportunity that we have around our core value proposition. As customers have either over-rotated a little bit into the cloud and are now looking at, is that the right destination for the workloads that I've moved there? Should I be considering pulling some of those workloads back? And there's been multiple reports within the market around customer considerations and how they're thinking about the balance of what remains on-premise and what remains in the cloud. And partners are front and center of helping customers go through that journey, do the discovery, identify where there's operational savings or benefit, and then taking them through from a technology execution perspective. And clearly the Nutanix value proposition is very well aligned in supporting that journey. So there's still a huge amount of addressable market out there for partners on building clouds with Nutanix, whether that's on-premise in the data center, as a service provider, or expanding our clusters capability into the public cloud providers, AWS. And we announced last week at our .next seminar that we're now in private preview on Azure as well. So really bringing that hybrid multi-cloud to life. For the partners that want to expand even further, the portfolio is broadened out. So we have database capability, and there are certain partners that may wish to double down on that as customers look at how they better use customer data that they have to provide new services to the market. It's fundamental that you've got your database technology in a consistent and operational environment, which means that you want to look at how you drive automation in that process and how you reduce cost and free up some of your DBAs to drive innovation. And again, there's skill sets around that. Some partners may have database practices. Some partners may want to partner with people that can deliver database consultancy but don't want to provide infrastructure. Some partners may wish to invest in building out database practices. So I think the message that I would land would be lots of opportunity in the core value proposition area, but for partners that want to expand, we've got expansion opportunity for skill sets around database. We've expansion opportunity with some of the new alliances we've announced. So we announced the Red Hat Alliance. That brings a new set of capability for partners that may want to get into the DevOps space and help customers build, manage, and run applications in that hybrid multi-cloud environment. So for partners that want to capture the market today, great portfolio, great opportunity, no immediate need to go out and acquire a load of skill sets. For partners that want to move around the value stack to database, to DevOps, then there's an opportunity to work with our alliances and build up skills and competency to deliver that for customers.
I mean, you made an interesting point. I mean, there's a lot to unpack there, but you made one very interesting point, which is around the engagement with the hyperscalers, with AWS, with Microsoft. And obviously that creates new dynamics in terms of partnership models. Is there a danger or a risk that for partners that sort of shifts some of the go-to-market away from them? Or do you say that as an opportunity for them to capitalize on?
No, I'd see it as an opportunity. So my experience of any customer transformation to the cloud is firstly, it's quite a complex journey, and customers don't tend to figure it out for themselves. They turn to partners to help them with that, from the initial phase around workload assessment. What should go to the cloud? If those workloads can go to the cloud, should we put them in the cloud? And are they engineered, if it's an application, to be served in the cloud? There's security considerations, how users interact, what vulnerabilities that might produce, and partners are best placed to help customers figure all that out. And there's a service opportunity that partners can capture on that journey. Then there's the migration phase of actually getting the customer into that ideal operating state, whatever that is for that customer. And then there's the management of that complexity as the customer spins up multiple public clouds. It's rare that we see any customer just double down on one public cloud provider. They've got multiple public clouds and therefore multiple operational environments that they have to manage. And from my side, what I see is really customers are looking to partners to wrap and aggregate that service and contract around that and take away some of the complexity for the customer and act as that single point of delivery and of contact, for managing that estate for the customer. So from our side, I would see that very much as an opportunity. And then if you look at the Nutanix proposition, the license portability that we bring, so enabling the customer to port their license from their on-premise environment and use that in the public cloud. What we're not doing is just taking transactions from the public cloud providers. It's about that portability and the flexibility that we give customers and partners in the makeup of our environment. So very much an opportunity from my side.
Okay, fascinating. And I mentioned you've just taken on the role of leading the EMEA channel for Nutanix. And at the same time, Nutanix has just had the first anniversary of your new global partner program. So from your perspective, how do you see the rollout of that program going, and what's changed, and what can partners expect looking forward?
Yeah, it's a great question. So the last 12 months has been fantastic for Elevate. The program was designed to be simple and easy to explain. And what that means is every channel sales manager can explain the benefits, the requirements and the incentives of Elevate to any partner in a single slide and in a few minutes. And that's really, really important. As a result of that, we've seen huge partner adoption. So we've seen double-digit growth in partners achieving the top 2 tiers, champion and professional level, and in particular investment around services and the services competencies that they build around the Nutanix environment, which again is good for the partners business. It's good for the bottom line. Since the launch of Elevate, we've then expanded it even further. So over the last 12 months, we've added a service provider element. So if you're a service provider in the audience listening to this today, you can get Elevate for service providers. There's a set of benefits and rewards that you're entitled to as part of that program. And then again at .next last week, we enhanced it even further and expanded it to distribution. And so distribution now can take part in the Elevate program. And that's important for distribution in terms of operational scale, competencies, and rewards and profitability through the stack of working with Nutanix. And the benefit for the partners is you can now log on to the Nutanix partner portal and you can select a distributor based on the skills, resources, and operational efficiencies that they've got to really help you grow your Nutanix franchise.
Okay, very good.
If I can add to that, we're very pleased, with the sales team to see that the pipeline generation coming from partners is actually going twice the rate of the business generated by the sales teams of Nutanix. So that's a good sign that the program is working and partnerships are getting tighter.
Very good. Well, Sammy, that's a nice segue because you talk about partnerships, and Nutanix has been building partnerships with other vendors, other ISVs in the marketplace. And that opens up some potentially big opportunity for the channel as well. Can you talk about what some of those partnerships mean? I mean, you recently announced Red Hat, and obviously you've got long-term relationships with companies like HPE, Lenovo, and Adam, you mentioned AWS as well. So how can your partners benefit from those alliances, and what does that partnership mean for Nutanix?
Yeah, well, on those partnerships, it's different states of maturity, but it's all opening new markets and new streams of revenue for us. If you take the direction our partnership with Lenovo is going, we're going more and more into solutions, more and more as a service offering for both hardware and software offerings together. We launched a great EUC as a service offering together. You take the HPE relationship, that's really firing in terms of pace of growth, and it's happening in every country. We tend to open a lot of new customers together and a lot in the enterprise space, the top of the pyramid. So that's definitely a benefit on both sides. Citrix is our preferred partner. We said it to the world officially last week, but actually everyone knows we are a great fit with Citrix for VDI projects for a long time. I think what we announced is getting even closer to Citrix in terms of solutions we're going to bring to market, in terms of mutual validation of technologies working together, in terms of support and engineering. So that's super exciting for us because VDI is still a big portion of our revenue and it's not slowing down for obvious reasons with the current period. And we don't see this slowing down in the future, especially as we get closer to Citrix. Red Hat is a new one, and I can tell you there's excitement on both sides. It's probably the fastest relationship creation engine I've seen on the alliances we have, because both companies are super excited about that partnership. We feel we bring best of breed, us on the infrastructure layer, and Red Hat obviously on the orchestration and the application building layer, especially for the cloud native applications. So we think OpenShift is a no-brainer. I wouldn't say Nutanix is a no-brainer, but certainly in the HCI world, we are in that situation. So the combined value proposition is already well received by customers who are calling us to discuss this into details. And all of this is opportunities for partners. And that's the true value. And that's the reason why we are 100% channel. By the way, I said it 2 years ago, we're still 100% channel 2 years later, because that's within the DNA. And why we want to do that is because we need partners to build solutions, either to fix problems at customers or to develop opportunities. And that requires services and multiple technologies. So we are not planning to be the answer for every aspect of infrastructure and application management. We want the partners to be, and we want them to assemble what they feel are the best partnerships. We talk about the ones that are strategic for us, and they are more than the list we discussed, but our partners also have very tight partnerships with other vendors in the software and hardware world, and we accommodate those combinations very easily. Very important for us to have partners on this.
Great, a great message. Now we talked about the opportunities, but there's also reality that there are lots of challenges in the market as well. You know, we're seeing prices going up in the market. There's still a lot of economic uncertainty out there. And of course, all the skills requirements you've talked about, that puts big pressures on partners, and they need to decide where to invest. There are finite resources out there. What do you see as the biggest challenges for your channel partners, for the channel business, and for the industry as a whole? And how do you see Nutanix overcoming those?
Well, the uncertainty of economy and uncertainty of the future is actually the best opportunity to rethink how we do things for customers. So that's an opportunity for projects. Actually, when we started Nutanix in EMEA, it was at a time where we were just coming out of a crisis. Customers were, not having enough staff, not having enough budget to deliver what they had to do. And it was a great opportunity for Nutanix to show, the operational efficiencies, the TCO gains. So it was a context that was favorable to do differently and with new vendors. That was a good way for us to enter the market. And I would say that situation now, where customers want to develop different things, different projects, but they're not sure about the future. They might not want to spend huge amount of money on everything. The fact that we can start small and we have, small terms as well, enables customers to launch projects today without taking a huge risk for the future. And what we see is once we start small, it's sticky, the offering, and we tend to do the whole project together with customers. So for the partners, that's an opportunity to work on projects that wouldn't happen, if it was not with Nutanix.
What about the shift to as a service and subscriptions? I mean, that can be a challenge for more legacy partners. Do you see that constraining the opportunity at all? How should partners think about this?
Yeah, so I'll take that one, Alastair. So I think firstly, lots of talk in the market about vendors moving to subscription, and to your point, not always clear around how partners play a role in that journey and where the profitability comes for the partner as they take customers through that journey. It's something as an organization that we're incredibly aware of and incredibly focused on. And if you look at our Elevate program, we've already gone some way to helping partners on that profit continuum. So when a partner lands a new logo, there's a rebate and incentive available for that partner at point of landing customer. But as they drive adoption and then expansion further down the line, they can also claim further rebates, across a 9-month period, where they get rewarded again for expanding the workload. So coming back to Sammy's point a minute ago, starting small, getting the customer up and running, adoption of the software, proving the value for the customer, workload expands, and then partner gets, again, another opportunity for incentives and profitability and service opportunity throughout that customer life cycle, all the way through to then point of renewal. And so that partner profitability continuum, which is how we would term it, from moving from investment to just land, all the way through to adoption, expansion, and then point of renewal, it is really important. And as I say, I think we've already gone a good way within Elevate to help partners through that life cycle and to ensure that they're motivated, rewarded, and that they're receiving benefit from working with Nutanix throughout that life cycle. And it's something that we continue to focus on as we move forward.
Okay, great. So you're actually putting in place a roadmap for partners to have predictability in their profitability with Nutanix as they move to that business model. That sounds great.
Yeah, I think it's both predictability and then further opportunity as well. So to your point around expansion, very often we find that customer starts with one use case, but then quickly expands into adding services and capability on top of that, whether it's unified storage or rich data services, or whether it's database, or whether it's remote working, or whether it's then the expansion into hybrid multi-cloud. There's multiple opportunities for partners to expand on that customer lifecycle journey. Okay,
great. So my last question to Sammy, very quickly, what one recommendation would you give to your partner community as they think about 2022? Where should they invest?
Well, first I would encourage them to come and talk to us about, especially in that cloud world, subscription world, come to discuss with us the type of solutions and services you could build with us. There's a lot of effort, resources, investment on our side from the channel team, the services team at Nutanix to help partners start to build new offerings under their own brand, powered by Nutanix, obviously. But we have a lot of success and repeat business together with partners that are geared towards customers who want to move to the cloud, customer who wants to better manage their databases or the end user computing environments. And we help them develop solutions and develop those lifecycle services that Adam mentioned. This is, I think, pretty unique on the market that we spend so much effort and resources to help partners build that. So it's not their problem. We consider it's also our mission to build those joint offerings. So in those current times where everything is changing very fast, we think we have good skills to help the partners on building those solutions. That would be a number one recommendation.
Okay, very good. A nice way for them to think about differentiation and enhance value to their relationship with Nutanix. Excellent. Okay, let me close it there. Thank you very much, both of you, for a great conversation, and hope you enjoy the rest of the event.
Thank you.
Thank you.